So you've decided to join the Seaman High School forensics team, but you're terrified of memorizing and you don't want to write a speech. What do? You choose Interp, of course. And so now that you've chosen Interp, how do you begin? That's what we'll be discussing today. First step of Interp is to acquire a black book. This is a small binder with 3 rings inside of it. And this is your baby for the semester. Do not let anybody steal it. Do not lose it. Do not hurt it. Love it and cherish it and feed it and burp it and take care of it. Second, you need to decide which event you're going to do. Some tournaments have oil, which is the combination of prose and poetry within one event, and the others have the prose and poetry separate events. Poetry is almost exactly what it sounds like. It's a poetry program that is composed of many poems that revolve around a single theme, or in some cases one single poem that's super long. Prose is, however, different when it is a short story that can be either a long story cut to be short or a short story written to be a prose interpretation. So, now that you've decided which event you're going to do, you need to complete the worksheets that Ralph has collected you to do. On the Edmodo page, there are 2 different files. One is titled Prose and one is titled Poetry. First, we must address the basic state rules of the prose and poetry events. Both of these have a maximum time of 7 minutes. You must use a memorized introduction and title with the author present in the introduction. And you must use an Interp book. You can't just go out and read it off your mind from being memorized. And you cannot walk around the room. Next, you must complete the Understanding Prose and Understanding Poetry worksheets. These are found on the Edmodo page, and they're fairly simple to complete. It should take you about a class period to complete them. Do these, or else you'll get a bad grade, and you will not know how to do prose or poetry, and you will suck, and Ralph will do his chewy face at you. At the beginning of the semester in forensics, Mr. Ralph will give notes on each event. Pay attention to the notes on winning Interp. Live by these rules, and you will definitely succeed in forensics as far as Interp goes, as long as you pay attention to what Ralph says, always and forever. Now it's time to pick your piece. Some things to consider are that the pieces that Ralph gives you are given to you because he knows they're winners, and he knows that you will do well with it. So, unless you absolutely hate this piece, I would recommend giving it a try. Second, pick a piece that you can emotionally connect to, otherwise you won't want to tell the story and it will turn out fairly bad because you won't have an emotional connection and the judges can see that. And then secondly, pick a piece that fits you physically, and because the judges won't be convinced that you're telling the story if you're really skinny and you're talking about a fat person, or you're white and there's stories about a black person. Just it won't make sense to the judge, and they won't understand it at all. After you've picked your piece, make 2 copies of the script, one for you and one for Mr. Ralph's coaching to write notes on. Next, you want to start on your preparing your performance worksheets, which are also found on the Edmodo site. It starts off with the name of the piece, and then you want to read it for the rough time. It should be a little less than 7 minutes so that you have room for your introduction. And then you need to trim anything that doesn't really fit in the piece, and something that wouldn't make sense and isn't crucial to the plot of the points, just so it's not too long. Next, you want to write your introduction on the introduction worksheet. This is typically the hardest thing to do, and if you're having trouble with it, just ask Ralph, for an experienced kid, because they've struggled through writing your introductions too. Next, you want to reread the text and make sure that it all makes sense, and make creative choices as far as placing the text and where it should be. This is helpful when you complete the interpretations guideline worksheets. Next, you need to realize how you will manipulate your emotions with your volume, tone, energy, etc. And then also you need to realize what voices you need to use in your piece, which emphasis words you need to add a pop to, and which pauses to add drama. And then next, reread the text with your creative choices and make sure it's not too long. And then mark on your script also where you need to have page turns. This is before you actually put your piece into your book, make a little line where you would have page turns, or if you retype it, like add a space or something that indicates that it's building drama or changing the tone or something. Next is the most terrifying part of forensics for any novice. It's the coaching session with Ralph. Honestly, this is not terrifying at all once you get the chance to be around Ralph, and he actually gives you a lot of good feedback of what you need to take out of your piece and what you need to add to your piece. And then also, he can help you write your introduction if you're still stuck on that. Next, you need to physically cut your pages of your piece into your book. You can use manila folders, you can use white paper. I use black cardstock so that it blends in with my book, and then I just simply tape my script onto it and then have everything marked of where I need the pauses and where I have the page turns, and everything is marked inside your script so that you know what to do when you're actually performing it in the round. Next, you need to stand up and actually practice this maybe to the wall or to a mirror so you can see your face. This will help you practice and figure out a way to help your performance, especially with the use of your freehand. And then also making sure you hold the book correctly. Before you begin your piece, you need to hold it at a triangle or a diamond shape, and then open your book like so, with your arm going across. Ralph will be able to help you, and any experienced Interp will be able to help you open your book correctly. Next, you need to do peer evaluations, which are one of the most crucial parts about forensics. It will help you, honestly, because forensics kids are honest with one another. They'll give you good insights of what you can do better and what you have a spot on. You need 9 of these peer evaluations per event per semester. Next, you need to record yourself doing your piece. You maybe use one of Ralph's laptops or your own, and then you need to do your self-critique, which is found in the Interp packet, and then upload your video to YouTube and email it to Ralph. This is one thing that kids don't do very often, but I think that they should, just because it helps them to see how they actually are, and so that way they don't think that they're doing really well when they're actually not. And then you need to have another coaching session with Ralph, and this is a more productive coaching session. You'll start your piece, and he'll stop you when it sucks, or stop you when he thinks you should add something or take away something, and help you better your performance at all. And between all of these things, you're going to be competing on the weekends and bettering your performance based on what the judges have told you. And so after completing everything in the packet that Ralph gives you on Edmodo, you should be able to excel at Interp and be awesome.